Good morning, everyone. Hi. Happy Monday. Oh my goodness. Yes, we are definitely having a wintry Monday. But that's okay. We're going to make some nice warm soup and warm everybody up because it's cold out there. So here, this is like super easy peasy. I was in a hurry this morning, and when I do the Facebook Lives because it's so much fun and everyone loves to join in. And good morning, Monique. It's so nice to see everybody. And the whole thing is just about sharing how I put together healthy foods and what I do in a day, which is pretty funny because I do so many different things in a day. But anyways, so this morning I have so many plans for this week, and I was like seriously not prepared to come up with anything super creative today. But I happen to have sweet potatoes, and I happen to have carrots and some onions, and typically what we're going to do is we're going to work with a sweet potato carrot ginger soup. And oh, that's nice. It's cold in here. That's nice and warm. And so I was thinking, okay, I don't really have time to roast the sweet potatoes, and kind of when you're doing either often starting off with a stir fry or with very little water, where you're actually creating that a little bit of just a tiny bit of caramelization. And I don't use oil most of the time or anything like that, but just naturally the vegetables and the heat, when you stir fry them, the natural juices come out, and it starts to darken and enrichen the flavor to me. And so I didn't have time to put them in the oven to roast them to bring out that flavor, and I didn't I couldn't see myself stir frying sweet potatoes fast enough for us to do this quick little cooking demonstration. And so I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to throw in boiling water. So I threw the sweet potatoes in boiling water, threw the carrots in the boiling water, and then I thought, you know what, I'm even going to throw the onions in the boiling water, and I didn't even have to cut them up. Like really, they're just like not very cut up. The other thing I did was I had just a little bit of red pepper, and I just threw that in too. So all I did while I was preparing some other things to share with you was throw these into the hot water and bring them to a bit of a boil so they're tender crisp. And then I thought I'm just going to throw them in the blender, and that's that. So it's super, super easy. Now the other thing I did that I want to show you is, remember we were talking about, it's looking a little wilted now, but we were talking about the yellow dock. And the yellow dock is a weed that grows in absolutely everybody's garden. Like I can't imagine anyone not having these in their yard. Super, super healthy for you. It's super good for the liver, super good for detoxification. Oh my gosh, it's good for inflammation and pain. It's good for the respiratory tract. It's good for it's helpful for bacterial infections too, just as a tonic. It's really, really good. So I thought, well, I always like to add something extra to the soups or the whatever the meal is. Like I like to add a herbal, something extra that just ramps that up into making it extra healthy, more healthy than it already is. So I cut off a little piece of the root here, the yellow dock root. And because you can use this in a tea, you can slice it up and use it in a tea. When it becomes harder, like more woody, then you would boil it, or simmer it, so that you're drawing out the, through the woodiness. Whenever you're working with a root, I shouldn't say whenever, but most of the time when you're working with a root, it needs to have that constant heat over a period of time to really draw out the medicine. So I took a slice of this off, and it's still pretty tender, pretty pliable. And so I put that in here. because the heat won't hurt it. The heat just brings out the medicine. And let me just fish it out here for you. And so it wants to stick to the carrot. So you can see the yellow dock root piece here. So that's just going to amp up this soup into being super healthy, more of a tonic, right? So we're not more of a tonic, but really amp up the benefits that the soup is going to bring for us. So I'm going to put this into the Vitamix here, and like I say, this is like so not the way to do it, but it was the easiest, fastest way. And I was going to, you know, typically when you're boiling or simmering vegetables or whatever, I mean, so often we throw away the broth that's in it. And, you know, why would you do that? So I have just dumped everything from the pot into my bowl here. And I'm going to save this broth to add back to the soup. But what I want to do is just blend this up into a, you know, what do they call that? Pureed. Sweet potato, carrot, lovely soup. Okay, so we are going to need to add a little bit of the fluid to give some ease to the Vitamix. Whoops. Oh, that shouldn't be dripping, but you know what? That's what happens around here. We tend to do a lot of dropping and dripping because it is, you know, if you haven't done it before, it is a little harder to cook when you're sitting down. You know, just saying that if you're standing up, you've got a lot more, you know, space to navigate what you're doing. Okay, so we're going to try this, see how the lovely Vitamix. Okay, now that I can see it on a straight view, I need a little bit more liquid. And then we're going to put the beautiful lid on that was so graciously donated to me by Monique. I'm so thrilled. Okay, hold on to your ears. Okay, I don't need to do that too much. I don't need it super blended. You know, I don't mind if there's a few chunks in there, but you know, whatever works for you. And I think, you know, my main focus is to make sure that hey Kathy, good morning. Hi everybody. Hi Jane. Wow. Yeah, is to make sure the yellow dot got blended, because I want that a little bit broken up. Even though if it doesn't get completely ground up, it will still, like if you were boiling or simmering the root for a tea, it will still have medicinal qualities. So I did pour a little bit of the juice in there beforehand, so we're just going to add this, and this is going to be like so easy, simple. So honestly, I'd say from start to finish, if you get your vegetables into the pot, you know, a hot pot with a really good, heavy, super hot, steady boil, this can be done in 10 minutes. So it's a really easy way to make a super healthy soup while you're doing something else in the kitchen. Put your vegetables, or in this case, sweet potatoes, because they take longer. You would never do that with broccoli or cauliflower or something more tender that you really want to retain the nutrition. But in something like a root vegetable, like sweet potatoes and carrots, just put them in the pot, bring them to a boil real fast. Do this, throw them in the blender, you're pretty much done. So all you need to do, I'm going to save this. If I have enough fluid in here, which I think I do, I'll save this for another, you know, vegetable stock. It's really good to add to anything else. So just move these guys out of the way and add our seasonings. And so what we'll do, see if I can gently move this without spilling. Oh, there, yeah. Get it on the burner, that'll help. So you can add different things to it. You can add, we're going to add, we want it to get, oh, it's starting to boil. Let's turn that down. It really doesn't even need to be cooked anymore. I'm just going to turn it right off. So you can add, give it a stir here. Stop that boil. There we go. You can add nutritional yeast if you want it a little bit cheesy, which I am going to. Add the nutritional yeast. It really helps to add some vitamins and minerals, which is why I want to turn it off. So maybe I'll wait to add this till it cools down just a little. Just because I don't want to burn off those B vitamins right away. So the other thing that you can add, I'm just looking, I know it's right here, ginger. We're going to add a fair amount of ginger. So this will be like a sweet potato, carrot, ginger soup. So it's a heaping tablespoon of ginger in there. You know, to taste, whatever you guys think that you really like. So we can add the ginger. We're going to add some garlic powder, of course. I always love things spicy, so we're going to add some cayenne to it as well. Cayenne will help with circulation and the oh, it's still boiling. Wow. Let me stop the boiling. No good. Okay, off. Maybe I'll just put that over here so it will cool until we're ready for the nutritional yeast. Let's just put this down here. Okay, cool down. All right, so yeah, so the cayenne will help with circulation, blood pressure, heart. You know, it just opens up all the blood vessels. It helps with blood pressure because it actually goes to, circulates to all the extremities in the body. If you're having problems with circulation, cold hands and feet, anything like that, it really helps because it goes out to the extremities and it starts bringing those blood vessels to blood to them and circulation. So as we age, speaking for myself, you do tend to, you know, the circulation in the blood tends to focus on the central part of the body, and so there's not as much circulation to the skin and extremities as you get older. And so that's why it's really important to move and to exercise. And you know, right now it's not really the typically optimum time to be getting a massage once a week or something like that. I mean, if you could, it would be nice. So do it yourself, you know, just while you're sitting there watching TV, rub your hands, you know, get the circulation going, you know, if you can't have that done by somebody else. And also Epsom salts baths are really good, you know, and of course warm showers, that kind of thing. And the other thing that's really helpful for circulation is dry skin brushing. It's really good for the skin. It's really good for the lymphatic system and the circulation. And so the dry skin brushing, it's a natural bristle brush. I'm going to have a look. I don't know if I have one right here, but I'm going to take a quick look here and just see. No, I don't. But it's a dry bristle, natural bristle brush, and you can buy it at most health food stores. Healthy Habits would have it. And you're going to go along your skin in a circular motion, and you're always going up towards the heart. But anyway, look it up on the internet. But it's a really, really good thing if you, even if you're having skin issues, you know, like dry skin or even little bumps or that kind of thing. You know, sometimes people just aren't getting enough moisture, if through whatever means, either drinking internally or just dryness in the house and that kind of thing. The dry skin brushing is so beneficial in so many ways. So I encourage you to look it up on the internet. And hey, Barb, good morning. Hi, everybody. And so the dry skin brushing is super important. It helps the circulation, gets the blood flowing and moving through the body. It helps with everything. It just really helps everything. Dry skin brushing is super important. And so look it up and then check it out. The little brushes are very inexpensive at the health food store, and you would do this when you're dry, obviously, not in the bathtub or the shower, although you can do those types of things too. When you're in the bathtub or the shower, you can use a loofah or other brushes that are meant for using in the wet. And so yeah, so we need to really work on circulation and getting, if we're not getting outside enough and exercising enough, which could be a problem this winter. Make sure that you're moving, and getting circulation to your skin. So that's a long story on the cayenne, but that's why we, when we add the cayenne, it's doing that internally for us. It's opening up the blood vessels and actually facilitating the heart pumping the blood through the body to help with circulation, which helps with the heart, helps with the brain. Cayenne helps with headaches. It helps with migraines. It's super awesome for the heart. So the other thing I am going to add a little bit. I know it's going to look funny, but you guys are used to me doing things that look funny and that are ever so slightly unusual. I am going to add a little bit of seaweed to this just to amp it up. And this particular one is the dulse. It's broken up super tiny. It's kind of like little tiny, the size of peppercorn flakes, only they're flat. They're just little tiny flakes. I'm trying to think, like a parsley flake maybe. And so I am going to add some of that just because the seaweed brings in so many trace minerals that you wouldn't otherwise find in other foods. Really helpful for the thyroid. It has that natural source of iodine. So that's what balances the thyroid, and it also really helps against radiation. Super important, when you're sitting in front of the computer or you've got your cell phone with you all day, we're constantly exposed to radiation. So the more you can get seaweed into your diet every day, the more it can protect you, because they've used it to reverse the radiation in people, as well as the environment in places like Japan and all that kind of thing, where they've had huge radiation exposure. Okay, so looking at my additions here. Okay, so turmeric, yes. We are going to add turmeric. Get a clean spoon. Turmeric having the curcumin, very anti-inflammatory, and a lot of times I'll say to not add too much, because it can have a little bit of a bitter quality, and also it turns everything orange. But in this case, more orange is going to be awesome. And I'm going to add something to distract from the bitter quality. It's not really bitter, but if you were to just add it in, tea or something like that, then you would really notice the bitterness, which is why they put it in with a golden milk, and they add maple syrup or honey or something like that as a sweetener, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to add just a tiny bit of maple syrup here to this. It's funny to me. It's funny. It's probably not funny to real cooks, but I'm not a real cook. I'm not a professional chef at all. I just share how I do healthy, easy meals, trying to make them as healthy as possible. But what my point was that the maple syrup or whatever sweetener you want to use, it really does kind of pop out those flavors for the soups or whatever you're making. This is miso. Miso is a fermented soybean, which is super healthy for you. It has so many benefits. It's got, depending on which one you get, the fermentation is really good for the intestinal health and your gut health, and helps with the probiotics that we should be having and bringing into our body. So I am going to add a little bit of that as well. The miso, it always comes with a little plastic thing here. I'm not exactly sure why, probably to stop it from drying out. So we'll add the miso, and the miso, that's why I'm trying to cool it down a bit. The miso, you don't want to kill off all that bacteria, so you do want it fairly cool. So when I'm just going to let it sit there. When I reheat the soup, I'll be barely heating it, right? So that it retains that. Or you could add a teaspoon of miso right before you serve it. The other thing is, if you just want the miso for flavoring, then it doesn't really matter if you heat it up, because I think probably most of the population has had miso soup in a Chinese restaurant or Asian restaurant. The miso soup is hot, right? So it's just, it's energetically got all the good stuff in it, even though it's hot, served hot. Okay, was there anything else looking around here? We didn't do our black pepper. The black pepper is going to help to activate the turmeric and, of course, add flavor. The miso is quite salty, but not super salty, and it does have a particular flavor. I'm trying to describe what it is, but anyway, it's not super salty, so you probably would want to add either a Celtic sea salt, or you can add, I often add the Bragg's seasoning, and so the Bragg's is a lot healthier than other soy sauces, and so you can add a little bit of that as well, just to bring out that kind of like, instead of a bouillon cube, that's the word I'm looking for. So you can add that too. So that's pretty much, you know, that's going to be lovely. And as I look at this, I'm always, you know, I'm always wanting more color. But I think I'll leave it because it's going to be a typical, you know, you want it to, I'm always adding way too many vegetables. So all my soups end up looking like stir fries because they're so loaded in vegetables. And so I'm wanting to add some green to that, but I won't because it's supposed to look like a sweet potato, carrot, ginger soup. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do here, I just wanted to show you a couple other things. We talked about the yellow dock and the benefits of the yellow dock, and that we put some of the yellow dock root in here for the additional benefits, and I'm just looking to see if it really got blended, and I'm pretty sure it did. I don't see any chunks in there. So we talked about this. The other thing that people are really doing a lot right now is silver, and this is a Ionix nano silver, and if you haven't heard of colloidal silver, it's super beneficial. The medical system has been using it for, I think, literally thousands of years, as a disinfectant, antibacterial, antiviral, for you know, all the tools and equipment and everything. Silver's like the thing that they use, and also in liquid form. But a lot of people are using it to gargle with now because it has those antibacterial, antiviral properties. And so there's a couple different types. Regular colloidal silver has been made typically with particles of silver that aren't really as broken down in the body as either the ionic silver is a little bit more broken down, and then the nano silver is the thing because it's like super broken down so that the particles are like easy to get in through the cells and do their thing and all that kind of stuff. So if you are using silver, like I do make this, I have a machine that makes it, but if you are using silver, just check out what kind you're buying and get familiar with the different types. So but in these times it is really beneficial. I know a lot of people are suggesting to gargle with it, and it's helpful to you know, because it kind of it is antiviral, antibacterial, and everything. It kind of kills things on contact, and so yeah. So the thing, whatever the things are, they can't live on the silver or something like that. Check it out. Anyway, I just wanted to bring your attention. Don't just randomly buy things off the internet that you heard are good without investigating it a little bit more. So that's my little helpful health tip besides the yellow dock. The other thing we're going to do is something fun, and I have these cute little jars. You've probably seen them before, and I have not done this before, but what was I making last week? I was making something and I really wanted almond extract, and I don't have any. And I was making the hazelnut, the Ferrero Rochers, that's what it was. The Ferrero Rocher imitation little balls, that's what we were making with hazelnuts. And I was talking about if you had almond extract, and I didn't. And I ordered some, but I thought, why can't we make our own? So here's the little experiment. We have almonds, and these are raw. You want to use raw to retain the nutrition. any of the nuts that you use are best raw, so that you get all the vitamins, minerals, and stuff like that, the magnesium and everything. Like almonds are full of magnesium, they're very alkalizing, they've got all kinds of health benefits. And so when you roast them, it not only removes some of those nutrients, but it makes them harder to digest. Any nuts makes it harder to digest. Ideally in a compromised digestive system where you're sensitive, you even want to soak your nuts before you eat them. So anyway, what we're going to do, we're going to put these nuts in the jar. Trying to find the perfect right spoon to do this. So we're going to take these almonds, we're going to put them in here, and we're going to try and make our own almond extract. So I have done this way too many times, thousands of times, in making herbal extracts. Okay, so similar to the yellow dock or whatever root or whatever leaf or whatever herb, whatever it is that you're trying to extract the vitamins, minerals, and the medicine out of, in the case of the herbal plants, you're using usually you would use a vodka. And so when I'm making, whether it's echinacea or dandelion root or ashwagandha or astragalus or any of those things, docks, the reason that a herbalist uses vodka 99.999% of the time is because it's flavorless. And so you're putting your vodka over the plant, and you are shaking it daily or putting it in a warm, dark place. And depends on the plant. If it's a leaf, it's going to extract faster. Normally, if it's a root, it's going to take longer, but anywhere from 2 weeks to sometimes a couple months, depending on what you're extracting. And sometimes it goes much faster. There's so many variables to that. Depends on the alcohol content and blah, blah, blah. It's a whole nother science. Anyways, typically you're going to use vodka because as you give it a couple weeks and you taste, when you cannot taste any vodka and you only taste the plant material, then you know it's done. Then you know that the plant has absorbed and transformed all of the vodka into the medicine in that case. Or in this case, we're going to give it a shot with almonds. So we're going to try and make an almond extract. This is vodka. And the other thing you can use, you just want to cover it. It's not like fermenting, as long as it's covered, if it floats to the top a little bit, it's going to absolutely stop any bacteria or anything from doing anything. So the other thing you can do is you could do a brandy if you wanted to, but unless you're experienced in tasting things that you're expecting to be transformed into medicine or whatever, you would have to know the difference between it still tasting like brandy or tasting like the plant, which is why herbalists will use vodka because it's flavorless. So the brandy will, if you're looking for more of an elixir or a cordial or kind of like a liqueur, then brandy's great because it'll just add flavor. But if you're looking to actually extract the pure plant or the pure root or the pure whatever, in this case the pure almond, we're just going to use vodka. So we're going to see how this works, how it extracts. I have never done this before, but it just occurred to me when I didn't have almond extract, and I do this with so many plants as a herbalist. I'm constantly doing it with plants. Never even thought to do it with food, really. New spoon. So we're going to do it with hazelnuts too. And I have to say to you guys, the hazelnut and vanilla sugar that we mixed with the powdered coconut milk to make a non-dairy, non-milk, like a dry powder mix for your coffee or your tea or whatever. Mixing the dry coconut powder with the vanilla sugar or the hazelnut sugar or the cinnamon sugar. It's just mind-blowing, amazing. So it's like if you don't have what do you call it, like whatever, your almond creamer or whatever, if you don't have the creamer in the fridge, like the liquid stuff you pour in, this powder stuff that you put in that's made out of powdered coconut milk, and you run all that through the Vitamix thing, then it's just to die for. Like, honestly, I could have eaten that stuff by the spoonful. It was so good. Okay, so we'll add a little more vodka. I'm getting distracted. And yeah, that coffee creamer is just, it's like way beyond anything I've ever tasted. It was amazing. So, okay. So there we go. So we're going to give that a try. We will keep an eye on these guys and just see how they progress. We'll check on them from time to time. And yeah, I am selling a lot of cold and flu tea. Boy, the orders have been flying out the door. So if you need any cold and flu tea, let me know. It does work. I have hundreds of testimonials. It's absolutely works very, very well. And so anyway, I look forward to the comments and questions and anything that you want me to try. And we'll do some more recipes this week that are really fun. And it's starting to get sunny out there, so have a great day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Check out my Instagram and my YouTube channel and share and subscribe.